Now, Jason Rosenbaum looks at the behavior of one musician in particular and one politician. The musician is Kanye West. The politician is Joe Wilson. Jason looks at the similarities of their comments and wonders if all the fuss is just a distraction.
I'm afraid to admit this, but I've actually seen Kanye West in concert. Back in the day, the Chicago native was one of the hottest musical acts in the world. The college dropout and late registration were well received and well composed, bringing West a great deal of fame and recognition. But West's penchant for making controversial outbursts got in the way of his music. He first shocked the nation when he declared that George Bush doesn't care about black people after Hurricane Katrina. And he got into even more trouble this weekend when he declared on the MTV Video Music Awards that Beyoncé was better than Taylor Swift. Twitterers around the world cringed and swiftly rushed to the defense of the country music sensation. The outburst certainly caused a lot of hubbub, but it was something of a distraction from the fact that MTV barely plays music videos anymore. And really, the debate over the adequacy of two interchangeable pop acts doesn't seem to be a worthy discussion nowadays. Yet, Kanye's remarks were certainly conveniently timed. They came just a few days after South Carolina Congressman Joe Wilson interrupted President Barack Obama's speech on health care, right after the president assured the nation that no illegal immigrants would be covered under a Democratic health care plan. The Republican lawmaker shouted out, "You lie." Suddenly, the dominant focus around the political water cooler slinked away from the worthiness of the Democratic plan to whether Wilson's remark was in poor taste. Wilson's Democratic opponent received hundreds of thousands of dollars for the 2010 election cycle, while some Republicans were touting the Palmetto State native as a defiant hero against the Democratic president. But here's the thing. Whether Wilson sinks or swims in the next election cycle based off his interruption doesn't seem to be as important as the public policy implications of reconfiguring health care. Instead of talking about the costs, the consequences, or the potential benefits of the plan, the focus instead is whether Wilson should apologize further. I teach a section of J2100 over at the J School. When we discussed the healthcare issue, several students expressed disinterest. Instead of focusing on what this plan could mean for potentially millions of people, they were concerned that the news media was instead focused on the intense conflict between competing sides. That doesn't necessarily mean that the contentious and occasionally violent rhetorical brawls at town hall meetings aren't newsworthy, and it doesn't mean Wilson should instantly get a pass. But if the question is whether it's more pertinent to discuss the impact of empowering millions to get health insurance versus Joe Wilson's tongue, well, the answer is self-evident. As for Mr. West, hopefully his outburst will be the final death blow to the worst musical trend since Metal Machine music, auto-tuning. I'm Jason Rosenbaum.
And that'll do it for this week's Talking Politics. Remember, podcasts of this show and all of our shows are available at KBIA.org. Thanks for listening. I'm Sarah Whitmire.